initiative.
It's a tough balancing act for banks on the African continent as they seek to help fund much-needed development on the one hand, while at the same time being strategic in ensuring that they fund projects that address the critical issue of climate change and the mitigation thereof.
What we have been trying to do over a number of years is make sure that through our business of who and what we finance, that we can deliver positive impact across Africa. And by positive impact, we look at that in terms of positive impact on society, on the economy and on the environment.
The bank has been clear that it will no longer fund coal projects, given their highly pollutive contribution to the environment. However, it's also clear that facilitating economic growth and development on the continent is its key reason for being. And as debates rage on about what energies are dirty or not, it's had to make a stand on its resolve to fund gas, for now at least.
If you have less than 50% of the African population having access to electricity, if we've got massive underdevelopment from an economic growth, job creation, and just access to social services, because there's no electricity, kids can't study, hospitals can't function, and so on. One can't ignore that and take an easy route that will jump straight from where we are into the utopia of renewable energy. We have to accept that something at scale ought to provide a transition. And it is from that point of view that we've come to a view that gas is a transition fuel, because we think it can play that role quite creatively and whilst at the same time reducing carbon emissions.
The bank concedes that much of its loan book stems from its years of funding traditionally fossil fuel-based industries. However, it says currently its funding of sustainable energy projects is 4 times that of fossil fuel-based endeavours, and believes its funding trajectory is positive in terms of helping to curb the continent's carbon footprint. Even with Eskom, to which the bank has significant debt exposure, it says it's shifting its funding focus in terms of what Eskom invests that money in.
The direction of travel, though, is that we have taken a decision to do more with Eskom, but focus that additional land that we do to the extension of the transmission network in order to enable renewable energy projects to connect to the grids. The Northern Cape is one of the most ideal places for solar energy generation in South Africa, but it has the least sort of developed transmission network. And consequently, many of the projects that were ordered, especially in bid date 3, cannot connect to the grid because of the absence of adequate transmission networks.
Standard Bank says it disbursed up to 55 billion rand for sustainable energy projects in 2022 and expects that number to tick up in the coming years. However, it says household investment in solar energy still accounts for a small part of that lending.
Our exposure to households insofar as renewable energy initiatives are concerned is still very, very small. The initial focus has been large corporates, mining companies, as well as funding IPP initiatives to help them launch large-scale projects. We have now stepped up our own communication and marketing to our clients, households that is, to say to them, we understand your credit history because we already bank with you. We are willing to provide additional loans in order to help them install solar panels. The take-up has been quite good, actually, in the first couple of months of us engaging and communicating with the clients.
But back to the development while curbing climate change debate. It's not an easy one, as lenders need to pay close attention on how to get the balance right.
What are we here for? And if we go back to that purpose that Wendy talked about, Africa's our home, we drive our growth. We can't, it's sometimes easy to step away from the debate, to be out of the news headlines, etc. But sometimes it's our responsibility to take them head on and start and deal with the hard issues of the development of the continent, because that's where we have to be. CIB business is an example. It's a big part of what they do, is infrastructure across Africa. How do we think about it? How do we deal with it? And we had to go back to those principles.
The bank says there needs to be a stronger push towards cleaner transportation of passenger and commercial vehicles, adding that it can't wait for government policy to be settled in relation to electric vehicles, saying it would stand ready to fund such initiatives that drive the economy while in the process limiting greenhouse gas emissions. Nompumelelo, Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.